Greetings, Guardians. This is Olympus Alliance, and today we're diving into something the community has been asking for again and again: how to counter progress teams. And I'm not going to lie, this one hurts a little, because progress is one of those factions we genuinely enjoy playing. It's clean, it's efficient, it's powerful when it gets going, but that's exactly why it needs to be understood and broken down, because if you don't know how to deal with it, it will run over you again and again. So before we jump into specific counters, let's quickly ground ourselves in what makes progress so strong. If you're playing Hero Wars Alliance on Android, the new Road to Glory event on Huawei App Gallery is a great way to get extra value from your in-game purchases. From April 1st to June 30th, 2026, you can enjoy up to 25% savings by collecting footballs and redeeming them for coupons or physical prizes. For every €1, or equivalent in local currency, spent in eligible games, you receive one football. These footballs can be exchanged for rewards like €10, €20, €60, or €160 coupons, or physical prizes such as Huawei Band 10, Huawei Free Buds 7i, and Huawei Free Clip. You can also stack multiple coupons in one payment for higher value purchases, and any remaining balance can be used on your next purchase. Footballs are not granted for payments that include Huawei points, and only the cash amount spent counts. To join, simply open the campaign link, download Hero Wars Alliance through Huawei App Gallery, sign in, and continue playing safely. At the core of almost every progress team, you will see the same three heroes: Julius, Judge, and Isaac, the famous JJR core. This is not just a combination, it's a system. Julius brings sustain and shields, Judge adds control and more protection, and Isaac disrupts magic damage while interfering with energy flow. Together, they don't just survive, they build momentum, and once that momentum kicks in, the fight becomes extremely difficult to recover. And that's the key concept you need to understand if you want to beat progress. You are not fighting raw damage, you are fighting a system that gets stronger over time. So your goal is very clear. Either you break it immediately before it stabilizes, or you apply so much pressure that it never gets the chance to function properly. Everything we're about to show you today fits into one of those two approaches. Let's start with a very common progress defense: Julius, Judge, Isaac combined with Polaris and Folio. You've all seen this line in Guild War and Arena, and it's nasty, because now you're not just dealing with shields and control, you're dealing with aggressive magic damage layered on top of that defensive core. If you let this team settle into the fight, it becomes extremely hard to stop. So what's the answer here? You don't let it settle. You don't give it time. You remove it before it starts playing. And for that job, there is one hero that stands above all others: Iris. So our first counter is Luther, Nebula, Soleil, Iris, and Helios, and this team is designed to hit immediately and hit hard. Iris starts applying pressure from the very first seconds of the fight, Nebula amplifies that damage, Soleil adds more offensive weight, and Helios ensures that any attempt to scale through critical hits is punished. What makes this work is timing. You are attacking progress at its weakest point, the start of the fight, before Julius can build his sustain, before Judge locks you down, before Isaac fully disrupts your flow. This is not a slow counter, this is a decisive one. If executed correctly, the fight is over before progress even has a chance to function. Now let's move to another classic progress setup: Julius, Judge, Isaac combined with Nebula and Ginger, what many players still refer to as OG progress. This version is less about control and more about sustained pressure, and if it gets going, it becomes relentless. Constant damage, constant shielding, constant forward momentum, and trying to race it down is not always the best solution. So instead of speed, we switch strategy. We go for overwhelming pressure. And this is where nature comes in with the BAM core, mushy, Alvana, and Mojo, supported by Tempus. This team doesn't try to end the fight quickly, it builds pressure that cannot be sustained against. Mushy absorbs and scales, Alvana reinforces and stabilizes, Mojo adds constant magical damage, and Tempus controls the pace of the fight, slowing the enemy while boosting your team's effectiveness. What happens here is very different from the Iris counter. Instead of breaking progress instantly, you suffocate it. The shields go up, but the damage keeps coming. The control tries to slow you down, but Tempus disrupts their rhythm. And over time, the progress team simply cannot handle the sustained magical pressure coming from the front. Even if the fight lasts longer, the outcome becomes predictable. Progress cannot outscale this kind of constant, focused damage. Now let's talk about a third scenario, because in real fights, especially in war, you don't always have your ideal heroes available. You might not have Iris ready, you might not want to use your strongest options on the first line, and that's where flexibility becomes important. So we stay within the nature core, Mushy, Alvana, and Mojo, but we adjust the supporting pieces. In this case, we bring in Cascade and Soleil. And this is where understanding the problem becomes critical. The biggest obstacle in progress teams is Julius. If Julius stays alive, the team stabilizes, the shields stack, and the fight drags into a losing position. So instead of spreading damage, we focus him directly. Cascade is one of the best answers to Julius because of his high armor penetration and magic damage, allowing him to cut through the front line more effectively than most heroes. And when you combine that with Soleil, who also targets the enemy tank and adds additional magic pressure through his artifact, you create a focused assault that breaks the core of the progress team. So instead of trying to deal with everything at once, you remove the foundation. Julius falls, the structure collapses, and the rest of the team follows. This is not about speed or overwhelming pressure, this is about precision and understanding what actually holds the enemy team together. Now let's flip the perspective, because knowing how to attack progress is only part of the story. You also need to understand how to recognize its weaknesses when you face it. Progress relies on momentum, on building layers of defense and control over time, so anything that interrupts that early or applies consistent pressure will always be effective. High magic penetration, sustained magical damage, and targeted pressure on Julius are the keys to breaking it. So Guardians, these are three approaches that work: fast execution, overwhelming pressure, and focused breakdown. Each one fits a different situation, each one depends on your available heroes, and each one teaches you something important about how progress actually functions. Now we turn to you. Which of these counters have you tried? Which one worked best for you? Have you found variations that perform even better in your battles? Let us know in the comments, because this is how we improve, by testing, by sharing, and by understanding the game at a deeper level. Stay tuned, stay sharp, and as always, salute and friendship.